Descent wallet. Descent biometric.
Well, it's now 1 minute to 7 p.m. My name is Cedric Brown, for those of you that don't know me.
Can you guys hear him?
I'm going to be your host tonight. Tonight is going to be a special night. I'm kind of taking a little different trajectory on the way that I actually give the presentation about who we are, what we do, and the benefits that you should now be able to take advantage of if you get educated about what we do. The difference that it can actually make not only in your life, but in the life of your business, and also the life of your family members for generations to come. Not too many people really talk about these type of issues that I'm going to be discussing tonight with you, so you definitely want to put yourself in a position to take notes. You can also order a copy of this particular presentation that I'm going to be going over tonight. And I got a lot of great information. You know, as of July the 4th, there was a new law that came into play. And it's called the One Big Beautiful Bill.
Nice. He's talking about crypto. Come on, let's go.
I was always concerned about how that would actually, affect me. But then I really started to understand how it's going to affect you. Because it's not going to really affect me. And the reason that this law is not going to affect me, it seemed like when they built this law, they built it around the particular instrument that I'm going to talk to you about tonight, the system that I'm going to talk to you about tonight. The system that I'm going to talk to you about tonight is basically learning to operate and live through a trust. A trust is the only way you can build generational wealth. It's the only way you can protect that wealth. It's the only way you can minimize and potentially even eliminate income taxes. It puts you in a position to have anonymity and privacy, because right now in this world, we have no privacy. And your privacy is going to be your best protection. Now, the name of our account is Trust Up. Trust Up Holdings Trust. So we are a business trust. And therefore, unlike an LLC or a corporation, I can do business in all 50 states. I don't have to go register with the Secretary of State and worry about all the requirements that they put on most businesses. I'm basically operating a business on the federal level, and you can do the same. That eliminates you having to do quarterly tax returns and paying quarterly for taxes. I don't have to do that. That eliminates you having to have good standing reports, articles of incorporation, all the stuff that the state requires that you do. And then if you want to do business in another state, you may be approved to do business in the state that you're in. You have to pay almost $1,000 as a foreign corporation to be able to operate in another state. I don't know why they call it a foreign corporation, but that's the name that they put on it, and that's the fee that they charge. So to do business in all 50 states, if you have a business, it would cost you around $50,000 just to pay the filing fees. And then each state has a lot of paperwork that you're going to have to maintain every quarter, every year. And therefore, it makes being an entrepreneur quite difficult. Okay? Now, I've always talked about this particular trust that we offer. And it's called a non-grantor, irrevocable, complex, discretionary trust that has the IRS code 641 through 643 interwoven into the language of the trust. Now, you probably don't know what that really means. But, I'm going to break it down briefly here tonight so you get a good understanding. And you're probably going to understand why, as soon as possible, you need to actually purchase one of these particular trusts and actually be appointed as a trustee of one of these particular trusts. You may need to consider letting the family trust, when you get it, set up a business trust. And shame on you if you don't have a charitable foundation. The only way you can change your nation is basically with a charitable foundation, not a nonprofit corporation where you have to have a board that can vote you off. You have to go through the state. You can only do business nonprofit in the state that you're in, versus with a foundation like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Clinton Foundation, the Kennedy Foundation, the Carter Foundation. They can do work all over the nation. Matter of fact, they get a lot of grant money from the government that you're not able to get because you're not a charitable foundation. You're too busy thinking about how I'm going to get a loan, how I'm going to fix my credit, how I'm going to build an LLC out to get a paydex score so it can qualify, so I can get the money now to take my business to the next level. But a charitable foundation is a business, and it's really a next level type of business. A business trust is another level of doing business beside an LLC or a corporation. And that family trust, Oh my God, that's the tool to use to replace you. It's under what you call common law. But the world that you live in today is a statutory law world. You know, how I know how this works is when I'm in my automobile and I get pulled over by a police officer, the first thing they normally tell me is that this automobile is in a trust. And then I get a warning, but I don't get a ticket. I don't care if the tags are out. I don't care if I was speeding. I mean, I just don't get a ticket. So law enforcement understands the importance of this common law trust and common law property that's placed inside this trust. You know, the other thing I found out my automobile is I'm in a car accident and say they want to sue the insurance company. They can't sue the owner of the car because the owner is a trust. See, ownership creates a hardship. I know you've been trained to own and to try to own and control, but let me tell you something. Ownership comes with responsibility and liability. Now, I want responsibility, but believe me, I don't want no liability. And that's why me, myself, I don't own anything, but I control everything. And why don't I own anything? Because I'm a true man of a God, a higher creator, that didn't create me as man until the sixth day. So he'd already put everything that I needed here. And it's here to stay, but I'm not. I'm here for a season. And he directed that I be a good steward. He directed that I leave an inheritance to my children's children. He said that the wealth of the wicked is going to be set up for the just. So I definitely want to be a good person, and I definitely want to be a just person, because now I understand the secrets to success. Like Nelson Rockefeller said, comes from one of the wealthiest families in the United States of America. They actually had the Standard Oil and Gas Trust, and they cornered the market when it came to oil and gas in the United States of America. And today they're still one of the most powerful, most wealthiest families from generation after generation after generation to exist. So when they said that the secrets to success is to control everything but don't own anything, you better listen. You say, well, I'm going to talk to my attorney about this. Let me tell you something. You better listen to the wealthy people that are doing this. Well, I'm going to talk to my tax person about this. Well, let me tell you something. They can't normally help you because they're not lawsuit proof and judgment proof like I am. They don't have privacy and anonymity like I do. They haven't been able to minimize or possibly eliminate income taxes like I have. Folks, I'm trying to tell you there's a better way. It's getting rough out here right about now, people. And it's going to get tougher. You know, a lot of folks say, well, there's a word called worse. Well, get ready because worse is on its way. Before I get started, I want to just take a minute and give praise to God, because we do have one of our trustees, Mr. George Winston, and he, departed from us. But thank God he was trusted up. Thank God there's no probate. Thank God there's no Medicaid recovery. Thank God there's no estate taxes. Thank God his family can put him away nicely, and basically they go to the bank and take over the trust, and life goes on. Look how simple it is. You really don't understand what this really means and really what this is all about, But, while he was living, he did get his business in order. He took care of his medical power of attorney, took care of his medical directives, all before it was too late. There's a lot of foolishness going on around here today, but somebody got to get serious about life, because you don't know how much of it you got left. And we take so many things for granted when it comes to our health, but your health is going to be your wealth. So you got to make sure you're not stressed out in some. But anyway, let's get back to the presentation. But the one big, beautiful bill. A lot of you probably have a problem with Donald Trump. But let me tell you something. There's always a good side, and there's always a negative side. And adversity creates opportunity. I love when I see an adverse situation. I love when somebody's trying to call me out. I love when somebody's trying to put a force that's going to come against me, because I know the force that's for me is basically leading me and pushing me to another higher place. And, some people can't go where you've been called to go. They can't do what you've been called to do. They're not gifted the way you've been gifted, okay? And your talents and your gifts that God has given you should make a place for you in this kingdom. On earth as it is in heaven. That's right. You can have your heaven right here on earth. But you got to do what the wealthy people do, and you got to put yourself in a position like the wealthy people are if you really truly want to become wealthy. Now, I didn't say rich. We got all these athletes, these football players, they're rich. But we got all these basketball players, they're rich. We got all the rappers, and we got the social media content people, they're rich. But you know what? Their families are not wealthy. They don't have a proper structure to protect them from the IRS. They don't have a proper structure to protect them from a lawsuit. They don't have a proper structure to protect them from death and being able to bypass probate. They're not in a position to have anonymity and privacy. They basically talk all of their business and put all of their information on social media. So they basically tell on themselves. You can't retract what you put out there. Okay? So you better be very careful when you and your children are utilizing social media, because it could convict you. I mean, I look at the Diddy trial and what he's going through, and the things that people were saying. We talk about text messages. Well, there's another thing when you start looking at social media in itself. Okay, but back to the one big beautiful bill. I've never heard a bill says one big beautiful, but we got one. As of July the 4th, our president signed it into office after 6 months of him being in office. And it's going to affect so many people in so many different ways. We think about the negative part of it. Well, we're going to get cut off of food stamps, food subsidy. Well, we only got 2 years now. We can be on Section 8 for housing. Well, we don't get Medicaid now. We're going to have to prove that we are working somewhere. I mean, these are all moral things that we should have been working and doing anyway. Because some people are taking advantage of the system. Therefore, they're taking advantage of you because you are a taxpayer. And they say if you don't pay your taxes, basically you could actually go to jail or you be fined. I don't think that's fair when everybody else is laying around and just doing what they want to do. When they had to come in with Doge, we had to actually go after major trust. That's right, they were trust. And I just said a nonprofit corporation. These were charitable foundations that got your tax money, said they was going to go do certain things in different countries, convinced the government to give it to their particular foundation, and they enriched themselves and didn't do what they said they were going to do. It was time for that to be shaken up. So things need to be shaken up. Those who are at the bottom, you got an opportunity to go to the top. I think the good word talks about that. But are you in position to go to the top? Or are you going to stay stuck at the bottom? Well, that's going to be up to you and what you decide to do for you and your family. Okay? Now, I got a brief PowerPoint presentation. Sometime I would use my website, which is trustupcommunity.com, to do a presentation. But tonight, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something a little bit different here. We're going to talk about the one big, beautiful bill. That's
Good.
right.
Do that.
You're going to be thinking about that in your sleep tonight.
Do that.
Okay?
Let's do that.
One big, beautiful bill. What does it mean to you?
Because they're complaining about it in my audience
Let me
that
tell
it
you
didn't
something that's
pass.
going to affect you. And there's a piece of this puzzle that you don't have. And we have the piece where you are not affected. Okay? You and your family won't be affected. But what is that missing piece? Well, you finna find out this evening. Okay? Give me 1 second here.
Yo, what's up, Calvin? Let me know how the block party is.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to come back into it here. Give me 1 second. Okay, share.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, give me 1 second, y'all. I'm having a technical difficulty here. Let me close this out.
Better figure it out. Better figure it out. People are restless. Their attention spans are short. You're going to lose them. Let me know if you need a troubleshooter over there.
Just about got it, y'all. Hold on 1 second.
So, how's everybody's week going so far? And it's only Tuesday. All you fine people in this audience here. Denise, Megan, Jess, Kelly.
Okay, here we go.
Laura.
All right, I think y'all can see it now.
Skinwalker. I mean, I couldn't wait to say that one. TJ, what's up?
Okay, now y'all can see me too. All right, One big beautiful bill and the specialized spendthrift trust. This bill was built for this trust. I've been preaching, I've been teaching, I've been trying to get y'all to understand how important this trust was, how the wealthy people are living this way, and why you should live this way. But a lot of y'all just hadn't been able to get it. But like I say, they've just created a new law that's going to force you probably to get it. Or things are going to get worse than what they've been in your life and your family's life. So it's up to you if you want to do something about it, and actually fix this missing piece.
I believe that.
This basically irrevocable, non-grantor, complex discretionary spendthrift trust aligns with the big beautiful bill, such as income shifting. We can show you how to minimize the taxes now. Therefore it's going to be tax efficiency. And you know what? We actually setting this up for legacy planning. That's right. A good man or woman to be leaving an inheritance to their children's children. You say, well, how can I do that? I can barely make it right about now. Well, it's because you don't have the proper structure. If you get the proper structure, we can take the funds that you already have, reshift some things, and put you in a position to win. Okay? I said, Uncle Sam, we have to pay him. No, Uncle Sam just want the right paperwork from the right entities so you can minimize or eliminate paying taxes. So you can avoid paying income taxes if you have the right rules and the right codes and the right vehicles that's going to put you in a position to do just that. Now, one big beautiful bill permanently extends key tax benefits. When you look at state and local taxes, cap increases, I think around about 20%. All right, that hadn't changed. That's going to stay where it is. But we have another deduction now, though, which is a 20% pass-through deduction. Now applies to both individuals and all tax levels. All right, but as a non-grantor trust, the trust pays its own income taxes, and it can accumulate money that it don't have to pay taxes on, and it can determine how it's going to distribute money, and therefore minimize taxes to who the money is distributed to if you have beneficiaries and decide to do a distribution. But we try to teach you how not to do a distribution, and therefore you won't be paying any taxes or sending taxes to be paid by any beneficiaries. Maximize deductions per trust. See, a trust can basically write off any and everything. You don't have any limitations of what it can write off. But right now, you as a person,
I can't answer about Michigan now.
Limited.
The whole idea is to share this with everybody. If you want to do it, let's do it. That's
and
the whole
therefore
point.
you end up paying taxes. But see, the wealthy people of the world, they're going to make sure they have vehicles put into place where they pay less taxes as possible. And now we can take advantage of those particular benefits. Only 40,000 people still in the United States have actually operated.
You see the description where I'm talking about, like, I have a vision.
When it was created,
it should be coming through.
It's been tested and tried in court. It's been tested and tried through the IRS. And let me tell you something, folks, it works. It's just not working for you because you don't have it. Okay? Now, the irrevocable and complex durable trust.
I'm going to do a little talk after this.
All right. The trust is labeled both irrevocable and complex. Why? Irrevocable has its own EIN number, just like your child has a Social Security number. Okay? I think I got somebody in the waiting room. Derek, please go ahead on the middle. All right? But the trust is labeled both irrevocable and complex. Complex meaning that it has certain tax codes that's built into the trust that LLCs or corporations don't get to use. Individuals don't get to use. So this complex provision is quite important. Trustee controls distributions and retains income instead of funneling everything to the beneficiaries. See, a lot of times the government putting certain rules on your businesses and certain rules on the way you handle money and where it must go and what you must do and what you must pay. But see, the IRS leaves it up to you, the trustee, and the controlling document, which is the trust, to determine what you want to do under what you call common law. It's a whole different world out there that you didn't know about. You stuck in this statutory law world. Then under the, when I look at this new law, it can be leveraged to help you retain income within the trust. Can't do it in LLC. You can't do it in your name. You're going to pay the income taxes on income that came in. All right? But we have different classifications for money. All right? Take advantage of new higher threshold deductions. Because now you can write off more. Folks, this is huge. Y'all really don't understand what this is. This is so simple that it's complicated. It's so simple that it's too good to be true. But you know what? It's true. Now, discretionary and spendthrift. Discretionary authority. Basically giving you all powers at your discretion. You ain't got to look for no judge. You ain't got to look for no attorney. You ain't got to look for the IRS. They're telling you what you can do at your discretion. They leaving it up to you and the private contract, which is the trust. Article 10 of the United States Constitution give you the right to do a private contract to manage assets for one or more beneficiaries. But you don't have a copy of the Constitution, and you're not familiar with the articles of your rights or what you're allowed to do and what you can't do. You want to go talk to an attorney that practices law. You know what I did a Google the other day? I wanted to know how many estate planning attorneys existed in the state of Texas. And you should probably go to ChatGPT and do that yourself. You know, there's thousands and thousands of attorneys in the state of Texas. But you know there's only about 700 that practice estate planning? What does that tell you about attorneys? They don't want you to have an estate plan. And they don't want to show you how to minimize taxes. They don't want to show you how to eliminate probate and the need for a will. Because, see, they get to charge $300 to $500 an hour or more to practice law, to give you advice, to keep them busy. But you're going to have to take control of your wealth. You can't trust no man to take control of your wealth but yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. We're going to make investments. Some investments we win, some we lose. It's kind of like going to the casino. You're hoping you're going to win when you put that money in that slot machine. But when it takes your money and you don't win, what do? You pack up and you just go back home. But sometimes you go and you put your money in that machine and they come over and they write you this ticket out and they count that money out to you. That means you won. But the IRS need to know what you made so you can pay the taxes on what you made. You see, they ain't charging you no taxes on what you lost. They charging you taxes on what you gained. Okay? And then, see, I think that's so unfair. Because, see, you know, it's one thing for you to go make the money that you're going to go gamble with. You're paying income taxes on the money. And then when you go to the casino and you put the money in the machine and then you win some more money or you win the same money back, you're going to be taxed on it again. I mean, so you're really not getting ahead, but psychologically you think you are. Okay? But the spendthrift clause basically protects these assets from creditors. See, creditors will file a lawsuit in a minute to try to go after assets. If you can't pay, they don't expect you to be able to keep the things that you bought. Okay? But the spendthrift trust has special provisions. So if you have beneficiaries, they have creditors and think they can use by, you know, them being a heir to the throne that their creditor can access these particular assets. That's not going to happen. As a trustee, once you gift everything that you own to a particular trust, it belongs to the trust and it's protected from the creditors. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, if you own a home and you decide to warranty deed the home to the trust, they do have a deed of trust that already exists. So if you don't pay, you can't stay. They can still foreclose on the deed of trust. Okay? And then that wipes out the warranty deed, and now the property belongs to the bank. You know, I look at real estate, especially with those that's trying to buy a home. Ownership creates a hardship. What's the hardship of a home ownership? Well, you got to pay interest for almost 20, 25 years. You got to pay insurance. You got to pay property taxes. You got to pay homeowners association fees if you built a home where there's an association. You got to worry about all the maintenance of the property.
That's the one nobody thinks about is the maintenance.
It's going to appreciate, but it's kind of like the stock market with real estate. It goes up and it goes down. You have to go through all of that and just taking a majority of your money just to have a place to stay. For all your friends to come over and everybody see it when it's new and everything, but once that wears off, nobody's there to help you pay that mortgage. MORT stands for mortality. Gauge is a measure. Is it that serious where you have to go through all that just to have a roof over your head? You know, my grandfather, as I think back, he had, about 14 children. He built a house, never had a mortgage. You know, he never had a car note. All right? But he was able to take care of 15 children because he had land. And the taxes were very low on that land because it was agricultural land, because he grew his own food, had his own well. And you know what? That was called good, healthy living without the contaminants and so on that we are put in our systems today. All right? But anyway, estate and gift taxes up to $15 million. So basically what happens, when you gift everything that you currently own to the trust, it won't be taxed. Now, I didn't say you could sell it. You're breaking the law if you sell your assets. You have to give it. God says more blessed to give than it is to receive. And therefore, you get to preserve, wealth across the board. Protects the assets and the estate, definitely from probate. Because who gets paid first when you die? If you don't have a trust, the right type of trust. Well, the funeral home's going to get paid. Who gets paid second? The administrator or the attorney that's going to handle the estate. Who gets paid next? Medicaid recovery. If you use any Medicaid, they come in for their money. Who gets paid next? The IRS. They want their last tax return, and if your estate is large, they want estate taxes. Who's going to come after that? All your secured creditors. Who's going to come after that? All your non-secured creditors. You know, to me, that's like almost worse than filing bankruptcy. Everybody's coming out to work, works to get paid. And your family gets
coming after the corpse.
After they get through
the corporations are coming after the corpse when you're dead.
That don't really have any value anyway. So your legacy stops. You know, they're going to go to the funeral home, they're going to have some food, they're going to talk about some good times.
The whole point of this is to share this.
Everybody's going back to their regular life.
I'm definitely going down this path.
Because you didn't do anything to leave a legacy.
The more of us, the better.
And that's what this trust will put you in a position to do. Now, legislative, this is legal now. Legislative goals in estate planning.
No, it's a Zoom call. It's a live Zoom call.
See, Trump's he's about
I'm setting up a call for us with him. You opt in on my bio. There's a link tree. There's two opt-ins. One's for community. One's for the trust call.
So
right, that's what this is about. I'm cultivating people that want to come along. No obligation, obviously, but think about it. Think about like what we could do in the future if we're all aligned in ways like this.
The tax law can work for you. It can work against you.
Especially if you have your own charitable foundation. You want to help needy people. You want to help people in the world having a charitable foundation.
Like I'm bringing to your attention tonight.
You got to figure out what you want to do once you're wealthy.
Enhancements, and basically what it can do for you. All right? It's going to support multi-generational planning.
What are you going to do once you have all your money? What are you going to do? You're going to have all your time. What are you going to do? You're going to pull your hair out.
Discretionary spendthrift trust extends for generations. You get to renew it every 21 years. All right? It has a powerful impact on dynasty planning. If you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail. You're just existing for the day. Okay? The one big, beautiful bill primacy of basic, man, you got to understand, tax cuts. You got bonus depreciation, interest expense deductions. Matter of fact, you better get you an enrolled IRS agent now because your CPA ain't going to understand all of this. Okay?
Talk about it.
We have enrolled agents that work on our team. They can sign your tax return. We'll talk about when this is over. It'll be over in
probably like 20 minutes.
States, and they understand the 1041 tax return. They understand how it works with your 1040 and your business tax returns. And they can represent you with the IRS if you owe money right now and get that reduced down or possibly eliminated. All right? So, yeah, we got a lot to offer that most people don't have access to. Okay? All right? Get to manage investments, leverage business assets. What I mean by that? Once the family trust takes ownership of your home, your automobiles, all your businesses, your crypto accounts, your Forex accounts, your stock accounts, all the furniture that you have in your home, all your other motor vehicles that you have, your boats and Sea-Doos and all that kind of good stuff. You know, it's going to also own the LLC and your shares in the corporation. When we get through, you're not going to own anything, but it's going to be in this titanium vault of a trust that a third party creates, then they appoint you to be the trustee, then they resign and go away, giving you the only power. The power to get the EIN number, the power to get the bank account, because now you're going to be at the trust division of the bank, where your trust is insured up to $1.25 million, not $250,000. See, I got to make you think bigger. I got to make you think more. You got to have more insurance on these bank accounts because money's been overflow. Matter of fact, you're finna get ready to have money to give away because it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. And you know what? We got people that are blessed like that today. And you could just so happen to be one of them. Okay? So we can turn this thing around. Now, watch for IRS scrutiny, IRS memos, warning against manipulation of income, aggressive use of trust, where people try to layer trust and create foundations and say, well, you don't owe no taxes. Let me tell you something. The IRS, they're already on top of these kind of games. If you go to my website, trustupcommunity.com, and go to resources, and you click on legal, you're going to see some people, that, it ain't that many now, but you're going to see a couple people that's been indicted. Now, they haven't been convicted yet, but they've been indicted. You're going to see a memorandum from the IRS looking at materials of people that are trying to market this trust wrong. And therefore, there's a wrong way and a right way to run an LLC, a corporation, and there's a wrong way and a right way to operate a trust. I'll tell you one thing, there's more fraud going on with LLCs and corporations than it is with trusts. Okay? So don't think that this is something special and different, though it is something special and different. And if you use it the right way, it can be a big benefit for you and your family for generations to come. Now, I kind of want you to get an aerial view here. We have a grantor sets up the trust. We call that person a settler. Okay? And then, as he set that up, to the right you see the one big beautiful bill, tax and estate benefits of this particular irrevocable, non-grantor, complex, discretionary spendthrift trust. Your life has just changed. Okay? All right? Because you now with the big beautiful bill, you got deductions and estate exceptions that you wouldn't have had if you never set up this particular trust. Okay? Now, the trustee manages that trust. He ain't got to talk to no attorney. He ain't got to talk to no lawyer, because you know what? This is under common law, not well, not the law that the judges are under and attorneys
statutory.
are. So, okay? So that's
couldn't think of the word.
To know that you can have control of something that you didn't create, and the government stays out of your business. Okay? The IRS tax authority basically has put codes inside of this trust where it can operate and it can defer taxes. It can minimize taxes by using expenses and so on that an LLC or you as a person can't do. Okay? Now, the irrevocable trust is going to handle all the investments now. It's going to set up all the businesses and all the businesses. And all the rental income and stuff goes into the irrevocable trust, okay, as an extraordinary dividend, not as income. So therefore, you don't pay income taxes, okay? And you say, well, how do I get the money out? Well, the trust has expenses. You have a checkbook. You have a debit card.
Got to start thinking about this stuff.
It's going to pay the mortgage. It's going to pay the house taxes, the house insurance. It's going to take care of the water bill, the light bill, the gas bill. That's right. Even the yard man, all that's write-off now. The pool man is write-off.
Not be ready for it.
Because, see, these assets belong to the trust, and the trust has expenses. But it made money that's not called an income, okay? And then you can strategically do distributions to your beneficiaries. You know, you want to pay your children an allowance? Well, you can do
I'll tell you at the end.
And you can minimize the taxes on that because they're in a very low tax bracket anyway. Probably be no taxes. Okay, so you got control of what the money goes out to take care of.
Might be in the description.
You get to retain earnings on the trust level. Okay, now would the trust be taxed? Absolutely. Would it owe taxes? It could. It could not. Do it have to
exactly,
pay
Kelly.
taxes? Well, your 401k,
you got to figure out what you want to do, like on the other side of all this. You got to really like start to think about that.
So we can defer taxes into perpetuity.
We're going to talk about this when it's done.
So then, when you pass on and go away as a trustee, a successor trustee steps up and take over, and the legacy plan, as you look to my right, it keeps on moving. No estate taxes. No probate. See, the trust don't get married, so they don't have to worry about a divorce or a prenup. The trust don't get sick, so they don't have to worry about Medicare, Medicaid, and all that good stuff. See, a trust is not an entity of statutory law, so it can't be sued, you know, in the court system and so on. Okay? See, a trust don't have to go through probate because you know what? It don't die. It's not like a human, but it's like a human. You know, that's gonna be here forever. Okay? And you can be that trustee that set this up. So we'll be here forever to protect the assets, to protect your family members, and to educate our beneficiaries on how they should be able to operate and keep a legacy going and be protected while you live in the United States of America and not have to worry about our greatest fear, April the 15th, the IRS. Not have to worry about a lawsuit that includes a divorce. Don't have to worry about medical power of attorney and medical directives because we cover all of that. You know what? You hadn't even done an inventory on all the assets that you have. We have a place in the trust booklet where you do an inventory and put down all the assets, all the bank account numbers, all the safety deposit boxes, all the cryptocurrency passwords and stuff that would die when you die. All right, any retirement accounts that's with an old company that you used to work for that nobody will notify that company upon your death, so they get to keep that money, your family never get it. I mean, there's so many things that we don't take care of that we need to take care of. And that black book, this is the best black book that you're going to ever want because it's going to have all the information in it to continue this legacy for generations to come. You need to get the black book. Matter of fact, you need to get the black book for the family trust, the black book for the business trust, give you a better way to do business, and also the black book for the charitable foundation trust. Because, see, it's a system. And if you use these three trusts, we can definitely minimize and potentially eliminate taxes, lawsuits, and protect you and give you privacy and anonymity and give your family a peace of mind that the legacy is going to live on because you've been proactive. You had a plan. Not the plan that they gave you when you had a will or if you didn't have a will, but the plan that the state has for you. All right? So the whole key is all about control. So become a control freak. But you don't want to own anything. Because you want to be responsibility, but you don't want the liability. Yes, you get to ride in the car. Yes, the trust cannot pay for your haircut and take you to the beauty shop and take you to the nail shop. You need to have your own money that you can make as a trustee and file on your 1040. But you don't need that much money now because, see, you ain't got to give money to the kids no more. You ain't got to pay the light bill, the water bill, the gas bill. All that's coming as an expense to the trust. That's paid out of the trust bank account. And if you're a W-2 employee, I don't knock that. I used to be one of those back in 1983 when I graduated. Around 1990, I decided to retire from being a W-2 employee and decided I wanted to graduate to become an entrepreneur. But there was no manual, there was no book that taught me how to become an entrepreneur. They didn't tell me about state income taxes or federal income taxes. They didn't tell me about quarterly tax returns. They didn't tell me about self-employment taxes and me having to pay Social Security. They didn't tell me about, I could possibly be in a lawsuit and say, go set you up an LLC. I say, what is that? A limited liability company. And I went and set up a few of them things. You know what? A few of them got sued. You know what? They sued me too for setting them up. So I ended up with 2 lawsuits. So I called it a large lawsuit coming now. Okay? And a corporation, yes,
large lawsuit coming,
LLC. And the
LLC.
shareholders could be responsible for what the actual company did. And therefore, the stock would fall. So therefore, so I'm trying to tell y'all folks there's a better way. You don't have to do what you've been doing. Yeah, you say, well, I have professionals that are telling me what to do. Are they wealthy? Are they lawsuit proof and judgment proof? Do they still pay income taxes? Tell them to open up. Do what somebody.
I gotta give. I love his attitude. I mean,
you can't say
I don't say that a lot about a lot of people. I love the way he delivers his stuff.
And we are the Rolls Royce when it comes to state planning. Okay?
My friend David really loves them.
With letters of legal opinion.
They do a lot of good work.
Just like we have the enrolled IRS agents to help you with your tax strategy. It's a complete system. We're going to tell you what to do, show you what to do, and do it with you till you learn how. But we're going to give you a plan. Just like you see this laid out, we're going to do a layout, just like you see right here, of how your thing is going to flow and how things are going to continue to go and how you can now really master life right here on Earth. Utilizing the spendthrift, non-grantor, irrevocable, complex, discretionary trust. Utilizing the business trust that's going to create that can manage your LLCs or C Corps or whatever, but it can also do business at the same time and do business in all 50 states. It can also build credit and so on, just like a regular business. Okay? And then you have the charitable foundation. If you don't have that foundation, you cannot leave a legacy. I reached out to Les Brown. He's one of our customers. And I said, Les Brown, what makes Zig Ziglar better than you? He said, nothing. I said, well, I think that's a lie. He said, what you mean? I said, well, when he passed away, he had a family trust and a charitable foundation trust worth $15 million. I said, you getting up in age, you about 77. I said, what do you have right now? You got about 10 kids, right? And you know what? You got a lot of great information that is going to go up in value once you pass away. I say, but you don't even have a will or a trust. Just like James Brown didn't have a will or a trust, Prince didn't have a will or a trust. You know what I'm saying? But then I looked at people like Bob Dole, controlling $400 million, died. I ain't heard nothing else about his family. Ain't paid no estate taxes, no probate. John McCain, same situation. Colin Powell, same situation. What do they know that we don't know? What does our senators and our congressmen and our presidents know that we don't know? Why do they make laws for us that don't affect them? But yet still we vote and we put them in office. And they become millionaires. I mean, that's the most stupidest thing that I could ever see. They say, vote for me. I got all this I'm going to give you and I'm going to help you with. Then they get in there and they help themselves. And then you start to complain. I can't believe I voted for that person. Well, let me tell you something. You got a system within a system. And if you operate through trust, you are that system within a system. So it don't matter to you who the president is. It don't matter to you what they know and what they do, because you basically protected for things that average and ordinary people are not protected from. So therefore it makes you extraordinary. See, the kings and queens still exist today. They live through these particular type of trusts. Kings and queens don't own anything. Kings and queens don't pay taxes. Kings and queens ain't facing lawsuits. Kings and queens, when they die today, their successor steps up the same day, not tomorrow. They ain't got to go through no court system. They ain't got to pay no estate taxes. So you got a choice to continue to live like those other pieces on the chessboard. As a matter of fact, some of you just want to live on the checkerboard. Or you can now do what it takes to protect the king and the queen. But the decision is up to you. Okay? This ain't nothing new. So summary here. Non-grantor allows trust level taxation and income retention, because a third party creates the trust, not you. Nobody can ever say you created a trust or you own a trust. Irrevocable and complex has its own EIN number and it's got its own tax codes that put you in a position to do what you can't do with LLCs, corporations, or doing your name. Discretionary and spendthrift, number one, you got all the power to control this trust. Spendthrift protects all the assets from the creditors. Dynasty and legacy planning. Basically, this trust can go on for generations after generations after generations. All right, so you can plan for a long time and leave a legacy. And then IRS compliance risk requires careful structuring to avoid IRS targeting. We can help you do that. That's what we do. That's what this is all about. Okay? This is huge. You know, nobody else is talking about the one big beautiful bill. If you do hear it talked about, they on social media, on YouTube, telling you about all the things they're finna cut, but they're not talking about the things that you can get if you were properly structured with this particular trust. So yes, the trust costs about $15,000 to get a family trust. It's about $10,000 to get a business trust. It's also about $10,000 to get a charitable foundation trust. But let's start with charitable foundation. Say you spent $10,000 and then you got a grant for $150,000 or $200,000. You continue to get those grants year after year. Was that $10,000 worth it? You don't have to pay any taxes on it. That charitable foundation can actually buy real estate and don't have to pay any property taxes. Huh? See, y'all don't even understand what I'm talking about here. Yes, you can own an apartment complex. That's right, it sure can. And normally we think that's for profit. You let your tenants now pay rent, that's the donation.
We're going to duck out in a minute.
They get to write that off. And then you ain't paying any property taxes because, once again, it's a foundation, it's non-profit. That's just one example of something that you could do. And then we're going to talk about a different way of doing business. Right now, you got all these LLCs and corporations that you set up. You probably hadn't even closed them down properly, the ones that you ain't using. You're not complying all the way with the Secretary of State. You ain't done your quality tax return. You don't have your operating agreement. You don't have your...
Oop. Phone died. So there you go. I think we can cut it short tonight for that. I'll probably get back in there. You guys want? I can turn my phone back on and get back in there. Just give it a minute to charge. Gosh, I didn't even realize the battery was so low. Yeah, so everybody's really clear on the intent of why I'm doing this. So that's Dr. Cedric Brown, my good friend David, who's a lot like me. He owns a couple businesses down here in South Florida, Cabo bars. If you're familiar with XRP Girly, what those are. He owns a Cabo bar down in Miami. He's in construction and things like that. My good friend David is mentored by this guy his name is Dr. Cedric Brown, and they do a lot of cool stuff. So my intent is it's kind of in the description of this live, but I'll speak it. The intent of me doing these calls and sharing this is, like, you have to do something. You can't, if you're into these assets, you're going to have to do something, whether it's an LLC or a trust. I'm not saying you have to do this in particular. Some subtle distinctions between, say, like LLCs and trusts or corporations and trusts. You think about it just like XRP. LLCs and corporations are permission-based, which means you have to report to the government, you have to tell the government, you have to let them know the government, you're reporting to the government for the permission to use an entity. Trusts are permissionless, just like XRP. So I'm personally moving in this direction to do this, and building a community is ensuring that the community actually sustains. And in order for it to sustain, people have to be protected foundationally. So I'm bringing this to this channel. Every Tuesday night, you guys can come hang out with me and do this, because I'm going to be just cultivating people that want to come along and do this together and explore this. And because these aren't free, and be very, very clear about that, but it doesn't matter that they're not free. Everything has a value and everything has a cost. But the more that we come together, the cheaper these things are. And the better off we all are together, because we're all aligned. You can't have some people coming along and say, I want to be in a community, right? And, like, I'm not going to run the community. You're not going to look to me like, oh, that's Coach JV. Like, not that. That's not what it's going to be. It's like, we're all equal, but you all have to, like, make really smart decisions and rein all this in and build the structures and the containers so that you're protected. That's why I'm doing this. So those that, I'm just sort of really clear. I don't care if nobody does this with me. I would love a lot of people to do it. And those people that do want to, like, explore this and be in contact with me directly and things like that into the future. Some of you, I know, like Kelly and some other people, have signed up on, say, like, the community list. There's another list on my bio in the link tree. It's specifically about, I'm setting up a call, multiple calls, with Dr. Cedric Brown and my friend David for a private call where we can ask questions, start this process, explore, figure out this is what you want to do. But the idea is to set it up so it's easier on them and not just like, oh, this person wants to do it, now this person wants to do it. Bring it together on, say, like a Zoom call and have this start to unfold for us, because I can tell you that the fact that XRP hasn't like shot up yet, hasn't taken off, it's a blessing. It's a gift from God. It's giving you time to start. So there's a link tree, Denise. It's the only link in my bio, right? So if you click on the link that says link tree, order from chaos, it'll bring up a number of other links like YouTube links, opt-in list. There's a few things on there. So that you should be able to find it. If you can't find it, please let me know. That means I have to look at my bio and find out why it's not there. So that's kind of the idea. So those that are like really, I guess, some of you say, oh, I really need this. This is something I want to do. Michigan, that kind of thing. Like hop on that list, and I'm gonna talk to you and reach out directly and make sure we're on the same page, and then mark you down. And you mean like doing a trust for the cryptos? Is that what you're asking? I'm not suggesting anything, because I don't do financial advice or anything like that. But if you want, like, to keep it really simple, I think you know the answer to it without me saying it. I'm saying you have to do something. You can't sit there as a person, as a person inside a system that's designed to like make you a slave and own this stuff, especially if it goes way up in price. So Matt, on my bio, if you go look at my profile, there's one link that says Linktree Order from Chaos. If you click on that, you'll go to another page where it shows you like I have a community opt-in list if you want to keep in touch with me after I'm probably leaving TikTok eventually. Then there's another sign-up list for the trust info call, like an exclusive private call that I'm setting up with David and this guy we just listened to, which is Dr. Cedric Brown. Say it with respect. So that if anybody who wants to, like, yes, I'm definitely, I at least want to go to square number 2 and explore that, go hop on the list and we'll have some conversations. I'll directly reach out. I'm starting to cultivate this a little bit. Like, some people have signed up, and just so we're clear, anybody that already did sign up, because there are some of you that did sign up already, I actually sent out an email to everybody a week ago, maybe a week and a half. Nobody responded. I'm not, like, because email is like, you know, hit or miss, and you have to do it a lot. So those of you that left phone numbers, I'll be texting and reaching out personally, so we can start to get the ground level, the foundation of what we're doing here moving, because I'm not really wasting any more time with this. I don't know how long I'll be here. I'm not really interested in doing so many videos anymore about XRP, because it's like I feel like I did my part. Personally, the reason and I'm continuing this context, by the way, by doing this, what we're talking about tonight. The reason I even like really leaned into doing XRP content, because I was doing different kinds of content before XRP, that some of it was going viral. It's like my own stuff. But XRP, I would do a video every once in a while about XRP, and it would take off. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Like, XRP content, really, people are searching for it right now. So I said, well, you know, I know enough about it. I've read enough. I've been following enough the smart people like Crypto Hulk and Mikkel and things like that. That'd be great. Happy to have you. The reason I even continued to do XRP, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I enjoyed making all these videos. I look at some of them, I'm like, did I really make that? Like, that's how I look at it right now. I'm like, look at that body of work. I'm like, it's great. So now I'm starting to put some of it over on YouTube with the shorts and things like that, just kind of like distributing it a little bit more. But the reason I did it was to look out for all of you. Like, you never saw me ask you to follow, like, share, save the video. I never asked you to do anything, because I didn't want anything from you. I didn't want anything from you, like, because that's what TikTok. Make sure you like, share, and follow. I'm like, I just wanted to make sure that you were looking in the right, because XRP, exciting and dangerous topic. People were getting scammed by scammers on here, so I wanted to kind of like create a divergence with that. And like, stop doing this stuff that's not working and start doing some stuff that's working, and just kind of like look out for liability for everybody. So that's why I'm doing this, because it's like, this is the next phase of it. You know, I have, again, never asked anybody for anything as far as following me. It just happened organically. I'm like, that's how I figured it would happen. I'm like, if you guys are getting value, you'll follow. I don't have to ask you for anything. But the point is to take this to the next phase and actually take some action. And everybody's going to stand on their own 2 feet with this. I'm not selling anything. I'm not making commissions on anything. And those that want to explore this, and as a recommendation, I recommend exploring this, because you need to do something. Whether it's you go to Jake Clavert and you get an LLC and they do something with that. Where we're going, you're either going to have a trust or you're not. And this system that's going to clamp down on the people that did not get into the assets, they're going to feel the repercussions of it. You're going to have either assets that you can get loans against, like your XRP and things like that. You're going to, instead of having a credit score to loan against, you're going to either have the assets to loan against, and you'll have loans in fiat loans in perpetuity because your assets are worth so much money, or you'll have a social credit score. That's kind of the idea, and all this is going to kind of be spun up around everybody. They're not even going to realize it happened. Not immediately tomorrow, but that's where all this is aimed at. So you either are operating in a trust outside the permission. You don't even need permission to do this. You just do it. The leaders don't need permission from anybody, from their parents, from the government. You're not looking to go out and cause havoc that you don't need permission. But you don't need permission to set yourself up so that you're protected. You need no one's permission for that. And trusts are how you do it. And I'm no expert on trust. I just know I've had a number of LLCs over the years. Yeah. I've had a number of LLCs, and it's like, they don't. I'm like what he said in the call. I'm like, you probably have LLCs and you haven't shut them down, right? I'm like, that's me. Like I don't care. Forget all that stuff. I don't want to report. I don't want to have to pay for it every year. It's like it never sat right with me. So none of my LLCs are ever run right or report. I'm like, forget all that, and nothing's ever come of it. You know what I mean? The right people will find me. Yeah, so go hop on the list, sign up. I'm gonna go through this and start pulling together a group of us. I'd love to get like 20 to 25 of us on a call, make it like really robust, so we can come in with like we mean business. And whether you take action or not, it's a completely different story. But you don't know what your options are until you fully explore the terrain and push it all the way to the edge, to the point where you have to like say, okay, I'm ready to pay for this. You get all the way to that point, so you explore all the options, and then you can sit there with that information and think, and then you can explore another avenue, right? But the whole point is like, you got to do something. And sitting around waiting for XRP to go up is like not something you want to be doing. Cool, Apple. It's good to see you again. I mean, like, it's watching people be like, complain that it hasn't happened yet. It says order from chaos. It says Linktree order from chaos. If you go right to my profile, it's the only link there. I can't change it for some reason, but I'm like, that's a gift from God, because like it shows that used to be me. So you can, some people can see I crossed over. I can't get it to change on Linktree, so just left it alone. So it's the only link on my bio. It'll take you right over to the list. If you guys can't figure it out, just reach out to me privately. But this is where we're going, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of like, I want to get out of the way of society. I'm just like, let me go over there. I'm like, you guys can fight over the grid. I'm like, you can have the grid. I'm gonna go over there. I'm like, give me a log cabin. Give me a lake. Give me some cabbage, right? I don't want to, just leave me alone. You know, it's funny. I talked to some of you like privately, and like, I don't really, I enjoy this. Don't get me wrong. You can see that I'm enjoying myself, right? But at the end of the day, I really like my privacy. I like that I don't need to be, I'm not on here because I need you guys to like me. I don't have any, that's it, like the need for approval. I'm not here at all for that. I'm literally like, the intent is to look out for everybody and bring us together. Talking your language, that's good. You were. Is that your language or mine when you spell you were wrong? I'm just kidding, Denise. I know people are sticklers for that stuff. So the whole point is like, I'm partners with my mom on a lot of stuff, okay? You know, my mom's aging, and her and I we've done really well in this particular avenue. And I'm telling her, I'm like, you're not going to be able to be friends with people that don't have it. You're just going to have to realize. You're going to have to realize that, you know, you're not going to be able to be friends with the people that don't have the same assets. Society's going to reshape itself. And you got to align yourself with people. Might as well do it now with people that are like here, right? So everybody's equal. Everybody's a brother. Everybody's a sister. You know, some of us have different levels of awareness, different perches we're sitting on, but we all bring in value to the table, and we get to figure out what you would call community looks like moving forward. Because you can go live on an island and never, you know, talk to anybody. You could always do that, but you got to kind of figure out who you're going to hang out with in the future. You know what I mean? So hop on the list. Look forward to talking to you guys. What kind of, so way back, let's go. Should I go back and look for questions? What did I miss? Did I miss anything? Let me just scroll back. I'm gonna go back to the beginning. So Godsend, you still in here? I think he took off. The Cedric Brown's kind of cool though. So what kind of thoughts, questions you guys got after all that? Anything birding in your brains you want to say? Any questions? Oh, you know what? I want to do this. Where is you? There you go. Can be lonely. Can be. It depends on the goals, Matt. You know, depending on what he's doing with your assets. Exactly, Denise. You know, and that's why you have a conversation with him. When it says one doesn't sound like the other, you have to fully explore conversation about trust and conversation about LLC. Now, here's the one thing I'm going to do. This is going to be really cool. So next month, I have a call scheduled with some of you guys might have noticed me a few months back. I started to promote this thing, cryptotaxaudit.com. I did a couple of videos on it. Nobody really wanted it. Like, I was like, all right, I'm done with that. But the owner of the company I'm doing a call with at the beginning of the month, and I'm going to ask, because he's cryptotaxaudit.com. Cryptotaxaudit.com. They all their clients are they've been doing this for years. I learned about him from Linda P. Jones. She interviewed him when they all went out to XRP Vegas. They all their clients are crypto millionaires and billionaires, and they stay ahead of the IRS and things like that. So really great team to have on your side to help you with taxes and help you minimize losses, minimize gains, all that stuff. They'll go through all your exchanges, your wallets. They'll do a forensic accounting of all your stuff when you want to use them. Fantastic. So the owner of the company, Clinton Donnelly, I'm going to be doing a call with him at the beginning of the month, and I'm going to ask him to talk about for the crypto tax audit stuff, Matt. I'm gonna interview him on the difference between LLCs and trusts and tax implications and see what he has to say. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So Matt, again, on that link, that order from Chaos, it's all on that link. So if you go back to that link and you scroll down, you'll see it says crypto tax audit. You know, it's right there. Everything's right there. When what? Oh, the call, it'll be at the beginning of the month. August, we scheduled it for like August 8th or something like that. Yeah, everything's on that. It's actually a really cool membership, Matt. Let me tell you a little story. So I pay $60 a month. It's their lowest membership, and they hook into my IRS account, and they send me a report every month. Which there's a couple of actually I took the videos down a while back. They send me a report every month, a live report of how the IRS sees me, and it tells me if I'm flagged for an audit. It tells me if I'm in their collections department, because the IRS actually has a collections department, which is not the same department that sends those letters. Say, hey, well, you owe us money. That's not. I get those letters. I'm not even in their collections department, so they're not even like looking at me to collect the money that they say. They think that, I don't want to say that I owe them, but they think. You remember seeing that, right? So I see this report, And what's interesting is I've done 1099 entrepreneurship since 2018. I've done a lot of different stuff. I spent 3 months doing this, 6 months doing this, a year doing that. Digital marketing went for a year and a half. I did a lot of stuff, and then I did a little coaching, a little this, a little that. And I really was like, I didn't really keep up with my LLC stuff, or I did some solar sales for like 4 months. I did like 4 or 5 sales. I'm like, forget this. There's no way I'm continuing to drive to people's houses and like watch them be asleep at the kitchen table just trying to make money. I'm like, totally not fit. Totally spiritating. It irritates my spirit. So I'm like, I don't think so, right? So one of the things on the report that I get, Matt, it says, do I have any unreported income from 1099 employers? And there's none. So all my tax years, some like 2019 forward, which has all been 1099, doing different things for different people, have different clients doing this, nobody reported it. So what does that mean for me? I don't have to report anything. But you don't know that. And most people just report their taxes because they're good students and this is what they do. You just report everything because you think everybody else is reporting. Most people don't report stuff, even your 1099 people. So all the 1099 income that I've made over the years, last 5, 6, 7 years, nobody's reported on it. So when I go to actually, because I haven't filed taxes since 2017 either. I'm just like, I don't like that system. I'm like, they think I owe the money, and I haven't filed my taxes. So I can see that it says, are you in compliance? Have you filed all your taxes? It says no. At the bottom, it says, do you have any unreported income and any unreported 1099 income from like self-employers? It says no. So I'm like, that's really interesting. So when I go file all my tax returns, I can do like 0 returns. I'll have these guys do it. But they send me that report. So you have to think about the knowledge and the leverage that is, where it's like, I can see how the IRS sees me, so that when they send me a letter, which the last one I got was December 2023, they were telling me like, hey, you owe us this much. But those letters are designed to have you reach out to them and start a process where they don't really know that you're receiving the letters. So they send you a letter to scare you into action. And if you don't respond to it, it's a lot like jury duty paperwork. If you don't respond, they don't know that you received it. They're not keeping track of that. They're just not. So all that being said, the report I get gives me incredible peace of mind that they're not even looking at me. Not even looking at me for any of that stuff, but yet they're sending me letters. So I keep it because of that, but it's a fantastic membership. And I'm going to be like that. I just want to kind of give you that story about what that membership does. And you can have them as I can get a 15, 20 minute consult with one of their tax audit professionals, which they're just like CPAs and stuff like that. I talk to the same guy every single time. His name is Kent. And every time I have questions, like once a year, twice a year, I'm like, let's hop on a call. I want to ask you some questions about what I'm doing. Because they're all in crypto. So you're talking about professional licensed tax people that are very aware of what's happening with the IRS and crypto because all their clients are crypto. So even if you got a free consult from them, you can get tremendous value, which you can get a free consult from them. You can tell them I told you to send, I sent you. Ask for Kent. He's a really great guy. So really helpful service. And these are just the kinds of things. It's like, yeah, that makes sense to have them in my back pocket for $60 a month. Set up the trust. Okay. And I completely detach from Coach Don't Pass Go. Like Monopoly. Anyways, I wanted to share that with you, Matt. Super cool membership. Tremendous peace of mind, man. And what it is that a part of my spiritual journey was in 2011, I got fired from AT&T Bell South after like 12 years of working there. And I had a 401k and a pension that I lived on for the next 2 years, from 2012 to 14. And it was like 50 grand in one and 50 grand in the other. So I lived for a couple of years. I lived off that money, trying different things, and I wasn't spiritually aligned with a lot of things. So I couldn't get any traction with it. But it was a great time for me to expand my awareness with a few different things I was doing, especially those trainings I mentioned. And there's like from those years, this is how far back this goes. From those years, from 2011, 12 through 15. those years, which is where I was kind of like cruising and like, no, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. And then I cleaned it all up in 15. They're still like, they send me letters for those years. Let's just leave it at that. And I'm like, cool, you send me letters, but I got the file that says you're not even looking at me. So, and I haven't gotten a letter from them since 2023. So I'm like, forget it. Because also what happens with the IRS is like after 10 years of non-interaction, typically those things fall off. I don't know if you guys know that. So now you know a little bit about me, about that stuff. That's why I have it, because it gives me tremendous peace of mind. I'm just like, cool. And then when something does happen, I just hop on the call. I'm like, consult. So they actually have clients. I'll look. They actually have clients that don't do anything with their taxes until the audit check mark comes in on their report, because when the IRS flags somebody for audit, that report shows it like 6 months in advance. So they go and clean everything up, and then because you can clean up your taxes in probably 60 days. You know, pull all the exchanges, pull all your wallets, all your transactions, your business, and then they put it all together and they get ahead of the audit and preempt the IRS. Let me take a look at the list real quick. Yep, I got you, Denise. David, Pris, Donna, Kelly, Stacy. Awesome. That's awesome. Welcome. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm gonna be every Tuesday. So then here's the thing, Denise. Anybody you know that would like to even like explore this or need it as well, you're welcome to invite them. I'm doing this every Tuesday, ongoing, because it makes sense to. I'm also going to be doing Thursday nights, my friend's class. I'm not going to be, just for everybody on it, because there's enough people on here, I'm going to explain. I'm not doing my Sunday night lives anymore. And I'm reclaiming that time. And the balance for me is Tuesdays and Thursdays, because I'm talking a lot less. And it gives me a lot more to talk about with the trust call and then my friend's Course in Miracles call. But Sunday, I said a couple months ago, started doing these lives, I said, if the exchange of value is sustainable and it's there, I'll continue to do the lives. It's not there, so I'm taking that time back because I'm just going to enjoy my time. And I may go live randomly throughout the week, so it's just a feeling now. I'm not going to like say, but Tuesdays and Thursdays for sure. And I think to focus in on things like the trust and self-awareness and Christ consciousness, I think that could be. I'm a nurse, can't always make nighttime lives. I understand. But that's just, that's Tuesday, and then what I do is, I don't remember speaking to you before, Matt. Maybe I'm just not remembering. But Thursday, I share my friend Chris DeSanti's class where we study this book right here. It's called A Course in Miracles. It's a very, very heady read. But this is all about non-duality, non-religious teaching, the lessons of Jesus. And at the end of the day, it's an entry point in the quantum mechanics, like that book particularly is. Like it definitely speaks around topics. And the ego loves to read things literally, like this in the Bible. It reads these things literally, and you're not supposed to read these things literally. These are symbols pointing to something else. So this is I stream his class just like I did that call, and then we do some discussion afterwards on Thursdays, and then again I'll randomly go, hey Marcel, I didn't see you pop in, and then I'll randomly go live when I so feel inspired. I'm just kind of like, I like you might call it, I'm not necessarily an introvert. I like quiet, and I like peace, and I like stillness, and I like to be outside with my dog, and I like things very easy. I'm not a complicated person at this point in my life. The way I see it is like, it's almost time to disappear from society. You know what I'm saying? It's almost time. Some of us have really put the time, effort, and some of us the money into it to like invest in the right stuff. And it's just like, okay, cool, Jake Claver. That's awesome. Is that the real Jake Claver? I don't think so. Send him to the block party. I'd love to talk to all of you. Anybody that's on the list, I'm going to talk, and friends, associates, business. if we have the right foundation, there's nothing that we can't all do together, or at least support one another with moving into the future. And you're going to need people that align with who you are in this, what you call new world. It's just, unfortunately, there's going to be a cathartic purge of relationships that just don't fit the direction that you've decided to go, just by simply investing in these assets that you just can't see just yet. You just can't see it. It became very obvious to me. I was on a boat with a friend the gentleman that does the class on Thursday. Him and I were on a boat a couple years ago, almost 3 years ago, and I had just started investing in XRP, and I really hadn't put a lot of thought power into it. I knew I was supposed to start buying it. Somebody got, oh yeah, the Spirit told me to buy it. It was like that, and we were talking about it, and he's like, there's a thought process about XRP that at some point it will be the ultimate. You'll either have it or you won't, and that's what's going to separate society. You think about the magnitude of that. You either have it or you don't, and that's what's going to be the have and the have-nots, the ultimate have and have-nots. And you're going to be like, yeah, I can't associate. Not that I don't want to associate and hang out with everybody. Your vibration, your frequency is going to go so high, and you're going to be like, the world's going to fall apart for a lot of people, and they're going to be complaining a lot, and it's going to hurt your ears, and you're going to want to do something, but you can't. Now maybe you can hire some of them to be on your team, and you can lift them out. I'm going to do that with some people, because you got to have good people around you. You got to have people you can trust, and everybody has a role, especially if they know how to play team. So. Right in my wallet. It'll be in my wallet on Friday. So I'm not going to hang out much longer. Do you guys have any questions? Anybody else want to hop on the list before? Oh, you don't have to do it while I'm not here. But I really appreciate you guys, what you would call, say, initially trusting in what I'm doing here. And my goal is to continue to look out for you in ways that probably other, you would say, creators are probably not thinking about. Because my mind is kind of tuned to thinking about the liability of those around me and making sure everybody arrives safely. I've been kind of retrained myself like that, which again was the whole point of coming on here and starting XRP content back in November anyways. I'm like, there's a lot of people on the TikTok losing their money, getting scammed because they're doing dumb stuff, like asking for advice in the TikTok comment sections. Some of you, probably your first encounter of me was like, stop asking for advice in the TikTok comment sections. It's the first time you saw me. And to carry that over, it's time to take it to the next level of we're going to create liability if we don't stay ahead of it. You don't want to wake up one day and freak out because your XRP is worth $5 million, $10 million. You're like, what the hell do I do now? Because we'll be long gone. That's the way it's going to go. Any last questions, everybody? So many people in here. I'm so honored. Wow, I really am. People I've never seen before, people I have seen before. It's really good to have everybody. Anybody have any questions? Again, if anybody wants to their interest, you're welcome. You're welcome. Interested in being on a call with me, the gentleman, Dr. Cedric Brown, my buddy David, who's again a colleague of mine, who's mentoring. He's mentoring David. A kind of a community call about all of us getting trust, whether you do it or not. It's something you're interested in. Go over to my bio. Click on the link that says a link tree, order from chaos. It'll take you to a number of links. You'll see a YouTube stuff. There's an opt-in list there that says interest in private exclusive trust call. Just opt in right there. I'll see your name come in onto the Google sheet, and I will reach out to you. I'm going to start reaching out to everybody this week. I did send out an email to a number of you. Denise, you're on here twice. You signed up on the first as well. So I sent out an email the other day. I'm sure nobody saw it because I wouldn't be paying attention to email either. But that was my first attempt at reaching out to everybody. Marcella too, Patrick, Jess, Evans, you all got an email from me. Quantum Mechanic was in the title. So I know you guys didn't see it. You do want to go search for it. You can. You'll find it. Nothing got bounced back. Tariq's got bounced back. I have to talk to him about that. But you all received the email So if you search your email for the quantum mechanic, you'll find it in the title. You'll see that I already reached out once, and I'm going to be using phone numbers moving forward. Everybody in here put phone numbers, so you don't need to worry about that right now, Matt. I'll tell you why. Because it's going to be a few $1,000s, at least for the family trust, which is at a minimum what you want to do. And you don't need to worry about that, because the way vision works is you just know you want it. You don't worry about how it happens. And then you just come to the table, bring the value that you bring, and you figure it out with collaboration and support. But you might not need that. I'm just saying, probably a few $1,000s. I think the last time he was talking, the family trust, which is like where it all kind of operates from, was like $5,000. But if we come to the table with 20-25 people, we're talking about buying in bulk, which is the entire idea, because it's all about business and leverage. So you help bring people on. I mean, it's like you're just expanding that possibility for yourself and other people too. So if you guys know other people that have XRP and you want to like say, hey, you're gonna want to come along and check this out, have them come on the live, have them sign up on the list. You'd be looking out for them as I've been looking out for you guys. So I am gonna get off of the call. You guys have any questions for me before I hop off? You're welcome, Apple. What happened today with no votes? I'm not paying attention, Craig. I'm just going to scroll back through here. You made me go back and watch Stargate again? That's awesome, Scott. Yeah, I'm telling you. Stargate is I didn't even see you say that. I've been talking. You're welcome, Kelly. You're welcome, Forrest. Fifeco, you're welcome. Yeah, I watched Stargate. I'm like, how did I not see this all before? How did I not see it before? How much money do you think you should have to get a trust? I think we answered that, right? Basically, yeah. Everyone I talk to thinks so. Yeah, of course. That's why I'm saying you won't be able to be friends with them. Because it's like, the truth doesn't require people to believe it. The truth is the truth. SG1's awesome. The whole XRP movie series, Stargate, the whole series, the movies, the TV shows, all about XRP. Now, I'm kind of curious, like, going down that thought process when they got to, like, the Ori. Because if you think about it, you talk about the Goa'uld, the parasites, the parasitic overlords, the system lords, that are like the lords of the system. You know, and how deeply that runs, and how we're using the XRP to break free from the parasitic class. We're using the Stargate to break free from the parasitic class. Think about that. It's just some pretty powerful, like, symbolism right there. And then you have, like, when the Ori came in, it's like, what does that represent? And there's some deep symbolism with the Ori as well. Origin. So Goa'uld. And then you have, like, I saw this great video. I think I reshared it. I reposted it. This guy, he's talking about. He's not even talking about it. He's doing Freemason symbolism with, like, the Oscar statue and Sokar, and then, like, how Sokar is this, like, Egyptian god, but Sokar was a very specific Goa'uld in SG1. If you guys remember, he was like the underworld boss, you know. I'm watching it like a whole new life. It is, right? So it's fascinating. They put it right in front of everybody, and everybody's asleep because they're entertained. And then you look, you pull that back, and you're like, oh my God, look at that, look at that. Don't forget DAG, Constellation. Well, it's a military coin. That's what was on the gate, was constellations. So the whole thing's military. The whole thing. No, I don't wear I have Bluetooth headphones. Not even a chance. Ever. Never, ever, ever. Won't do it. I'm not gonna do it. So Sokar, and then you had Ball, the last system lord to die, and then he screwed with the timeline. I mean, there's some interesting stuff there. Ball, Sokar, a lot of those Yeah, a lot of those Goa'ulds are very symbolic of like who's running like the plane, you know. So. What's Harvest Labs? The person that signed up knows what I'm asking. Is that in the movie about that? Yeah, but you eat a lot of cabbage, so I think that counteracts the radiation from Bluetooth headphones. I won't wear them. I won't wear them at all. Give it about 10 minutes. We'll hop off. So Thursday, I'll be back streaming my buddy Chris's class. You guys, love to have you back. It's a non-duality, non-religious approach to the teachings and lessons of Jesus. All right, Matt, be well. You're on there, right? I don't see you on the list, Matt. I didn't see that. Anyway, so Thursday night I'll be streaming that 7:30 Eastern. It goes till about 8:30, and then I'll do a little discussion after that. I always love those kinds of discussions. Talk about Christ, Jesus, and how it ties into quantum mechanics and the fabric of reality and stuff like that. I love that stuff. So lots of fun. I gotta change that so I know your guys' handles. I should put an extra field in. It's like, what's your TikTok name? I could always ask you when I talk to you guys. Marcella, you're kind of quiet. What's up? I'm not fun. It's not in the live. You have to go off the live and go to my profile. You're Stacy. Got it, Skinwalker. Got it. If you go off the live and into my profile, Fifco, it's right on, yeah, it's not in the live because it's just kind of sitting in my profile. It's the only link in my profile. It's a link tree. It says Order from Chaos. This was the old name. I can't seem to change it on Linktree, so we'll just we'll accept the things we cannot change. Give me the strength. Welcome. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I had someone complaining they didn't know my name. And I'm like, all you gotta do is ask. It's not like I'm hiding. He's just a character, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about too. I'm so like annoyed that you have my name and I don't have yours. Okay, well, like just ask. And if you guys want to be friends on Facebook, you're welcome to like. That's all good too, because that's more like a real profile over there. So we're welcome to do that because I can bring you into Chris's group over there. What do you mean? We want my first name? It's Benjamin. Call me whatever you want. Just don't call me later. Yep. What's up, Terry? Probably the wine talking. What'd I miss? You're calling me right? You think that's the wine talking? You telling me that I'm right? Is that what you're saying? This is cool. I got this little thing. I'm sure you guys have seen these, right? These things. It's kind of like, it's a liker. I just put it on my phone over here on my other profile. I don't have to ask people to do likes. It just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. It's been doing likes the whole time. No, not Benny. See, this is what I'm saying. It's like, my name is Benjamin. Didn't say Benny. So, take it as you will. It's fine. I have people call me all kinds of stuff. Exactly. I introduce myself as Benjamin because it's a powerful name, and then people call me Ben. They call me, you know, once we're past introduction. If you ever introduce me to somebody, just call me Benjamin. It's distinct. People sometimes they confuse the small name Ben with Dan. It's because of the way people say stuff. So it's just distinct, so I don't have to say it once. There's a lot of power in the name Benjamin. You know the name Benjamin means in Hebrew means the right hand of God. Yeah, that's what it means. Alright, we're going to wrap this up. Anything else, guys? I'm going to hop off. Nice. I'm Jelly. Red light therapy. You're welcome, Skinwalker. Stacy. Appreciate you signing up. I'll be reaching out. Oh, nice. Yeah, red light therapy's cool. I'll dare say, very it definitely invites blood flow. Let's put it that way. You know, definitely gets the blood flowing, which you can notice it, yeah, for sure. Excuse me. You guys should check out the video I did. I think I did today. It's a parody off Batman, the Dark Knight Rises. I was talking about like your shadow work. Sometimes I get inspired to do silly videos. There's Tariq, the guy that gives me the wrong email on the trust list. There he is, just popped in. I knew you'd show up at the last minute, Tariq. Know that your email that you gave me bounced back, Tariq. You're the only one. I sent out an email the other day, and your email bounced back. So, yeah, it's serious. Here, you want me to put it in here? Yeah. Yeah, it definitely bounced back. Put your email in the thing here, so I'll just edit it. No, just put it in here, or send it to me privately. Send me a message with your email. I'll adjust the list. Yeah, don't do it in here. Do it privately. Just send it to me. I'll edit. Whatever this was. See, okay, let me ask this. Is it 1S or 2? How many S's in your email? 2. Okay, that's what it was. In one column you have 2 S's, and then the one you actually typed in, you put 1 S. S2G. Yep. Yep, that's it. You can also send it to me privately just to make sure. Good timing, because I'm just getting ready to hop off. It's perfect. Yeah, it's definitely. Well, the way the form is set up, the form pulls your it pulls your actual email. So when you log on to the form, it's already collected your email if it's a Gmail account, and then you have the opportunity to type it in. And I didn't see when I sent out the email the other day that those were different. I just looked at it because you popped in. Good timing, because I'm out of here. Good job. That brings everything to a completion. I love completion, don't you guys?